So next we have another international treat for us, Kim Lyngaae, or Lyngaae, and a special, very special company example again. So let's welcome Kim.
Well, thank you. My name is Kim. I'm from the company Signifyn, which I guess not many of you have heard of, but it's actually Philips. It's Philips Lighting, or better known as Philips Lighting. We just recently changed our company name, but it's basically the same bunch of people. Now, my occupation within Signifyn is I'm head of post-sale services, and that might not have too much to do with design, but I will show you later that it actually has a lot to do with design. Now, just a little bit about Signifyn. We are a company of about approximately 30,000 people. We are the largest supplier of lighting and lighting solutions in the world. And you might know us from anything from your light bulbs in your local supermarket, still Philips. We will continue to use that brand. You might also know us from Philips Hue. Some of you might have Philips Hue in your homes. But we pretty much do anything and everything within lighting, anything from the light bulbs there to street lighting, office lighting, the lighting in your local stadium. So light is our business. We, of course, live in an ever-changing world, as we all do, but there's some definite changes that have serious impact on our business. For instance, the population growth and the spin-off of resource challenges in that context. Although population increases need a demand for more light, well, that could be a business opportunity to us, of course. But it also is a massive challenge, as you all know. But our place in that is that we can deliver light to people very energy efficient. And of course also a major influencer and impact on our business, as I imagine on yours, is of course digitalization of light. Just to give you a few examples, that an office luminaire, our latest office luminaires, is not powered by grid power. It's powered by an Ethernet cable. That's it feeds its energy source from that, and by that it's also a controllable data point. So our luminaires are now fitted with different kinds of sensors, anything from cameras to temperature sensors, humidity sensors, occupant sensors, which again really ends up in us providing not only light, but data infrastructure, for instance, in our office ceiling, that we can provide occupancy data, we can navigate through light, we can make indoor navigation in a shopping mall, in an office building, we can optimize how efficient you are using a building, meeting rooms and stuff like that. So that's how light and connected lighting can impact our surroundings as of today due to digitalization. Right, as any other companies, we have a mission when it comes to sustainability, but it's really, really more than that, and it's really close to our heart, and has been since Anton Philips and his brother started 130 years ago. They were the pioneers in, for instance, housing and accommodation for workers. So it's really something that's close to our heart and part of our DNA, and still is. As many other companies, we do have a number of sustainability targets that we pursue. I won't go into those, but it's basically split in two. What we can create of sustainable revenues in the world around us and our stakeholders there, and then looking inwards, some very tangible targets on our operations. I'm not going to go into the numbers, but as again, we have some 2020 targets, as many companies do. I'm really looking forward to 2020, because it's going to be a much better world that we live in, obviously, because everybody is talking about 2020 and the 2020 targets. So do we. And we're definitely making headway on our targets, and we're going to reach them. And we're already looking towards 2035. Well, that was a little bit about Signify. Let's look at some of the topics for today. It's designing and circular economy. When we look into circular economy, we really build our propositions, our solutions from the foundation of these 4 topics. The business models. We are, of course, a business, and the business models that support the business that we're doing today do not necessarily support, especially when we talk about circular, do not support the day tomorrow. So that's a natural place for us to start looking on the business models. And then, of course, design. I'll get back to especially those 2 in a minute. Design has a big impact on how we go about thinking in terms of circular. Then, of course, the practicalities of things, the reverse logistics, the broken supply chain that we just manufacture, and produce and sell stuff, and then never hear or see our products again. Now we are in a position that where we can actually go into these supply chains and control the life cycles of our products. And then collaboration. I think this is a very, very important topic when we talk about doing business in a circular economy. Because it offers, first of all, I don't think that any one entity really can do the full stretch on its own. We need to do it together. We need to do it with partners. And I think it's a very important thing that you need to realize before you go into any kind of endeavors when we're talking about circular economy in a whole. Talking about business models. As a company, whoever you are and how big you are or small, I guess it always starts with the customer and the demand from the customer. And one of the triggers could be, for instance, this. I'm not interested in the product, but the performance of the product. What that particular product actually delivers, whatever that's light or any other convenience, that's where it, to us, where it starts on the customer demand. And when we look for opportunity, and I guess others too, there's definitely some hallmarks and some trends that you need to investigate and look at. The fact that things go from being transactional, that was what I was talking about before, to being relational. Now that you constantly with your customers actually have a relation that goes beyond just selling your product and maybe going servicing that. Going from consumables to durables, extending the life of your product. To many, that will be a daunting task. I'm sure it has been for us as well at some point, because we make our business, we employ 30,000 people on making products and reselling and continuous selling products when they're spent or when they break on a repeatable cycle. That's kind of the linear thinking, and just having that thought, well, now we're making products that can maybe live forever. What are we going to make money of? That's a daunting thought to many, trust me. And of course, the thought of ownership has shown to be quite a challenge. I think we heard a couple of examples of those, anything from jeans to, for instance, light. Some of the barriers here can actually be local legislation that actually says that you cannot, in building design, there's legislation that says that you can't have you can't have different ownership of particular installments in the building, other than those who own the building. Which kind of gives the problem gives problems when you come to financing of some of these endeavors. And then, of course, as I mentioned before, managing closing the loop of the life cycle of the products. Now, these four topics is really where to go to look when we're looking for business opportunity. Right, design. And here comes the link to design and services, of course. This is one of our Philips-specific luminaires. I guess many of you have seen these in ceilings or some kind of form, not necessarily from us, but that kind of lighting fixture here. They've been produced by the millions. Now, going into designing and redesigning products like that for circular economy, here's some of these five topics is some of the things that we put into such circular-ready designs. Of course, the modular design using standardized components that either can be used in other product lines or be reused later. That's the recycling and the disassembly part. Being upgradable. Now, thinking into the original design of the products, some kind of, again, modularity that you can upgrade the functionality of your product. In this instance, it could be sensors, it could be readiness for connectivity, and other functionalities of the luminaire. Also, at the end of its life cycle, designing so it can actually be broken down and disassembled very easily, so it doesn't require tooling and machinery and destructiveness of some of the components that they either can be recycled or reused in other product lines or the same. Also designing for maintenance, and this is of course the serviceability of the product throughout its life cycle. It might not sound very important, but just for designing a product without any nooks and crannies, so it's easy to clean. So you don't need to use solvents, and you don't to clean them and spend time and resources on cleaning them. Well, they need to be cleaned, but doing it as efficiently as possible needs to be built into the design at a very early stage. And then, of course, the benefits and features of using materials that can be recycled. Now, another approach when we talk about circular that we have invested in is actually the company Telecaster, is 3D printed products. It offers a number of benefits, both in the design phase, the manufacturing phase of things, but it definitely offers some opportunity when we talk about sustainability as well. Because apart from being really good at honoring some of the topics that I mentioned before in the product design, 3D printing really, shortcuts the direction to actually making and manufacturing all these features within new products. It shortens development time and stuff like that, and the development cost as well. And for SMEs, I think this is really 3D printing is really one of the technologies that can make things a lot easier to handle and develop. I'm going to spare you for the sales pitch here from Telecaster, but they have, again, things has to be, and that goes for more than when we talk about designing circular into a circular economy. Things have to be easy accessible in order to change human behavior. I think everybody knows that given the choice, any kind of choice, we have a tendency to go for the easy one. And they have really nailed that to a T in the process of buying circular or thinking circular products into your lighting solutions, an easy step. Now there's some very tangible benefits when we're talking about 3D printing, and one of them, or several of them, has to do with your ability to, design the products bespoke to a specific application. Hence, you can save material use, and you can, apart from making bespoke features on the products. There's a lot to be gained. Also, the manufacturing process can be optimized, using lesser energy in the manufacturing process. There's a lot of spin-offs when using 3D printing. I talked to the head of Telecaster just a couple of weeks ago, and right now we are in the lucky position that our biggest problem right now with this proposition is our capacity. We simply cannot buy 3D manufacturing printers enough to meet demand. So this is really taking off. But again, as an opportunity to merge product design in a circular thinking, I think this technology really has a lot of potential, and the technology is out there and really accessible pretty much to everyone. Now, let me just run through a couple of examples where we have been using. I think this picture has just gone pixelated. Sorry for that. But it shows the lighting installation at Praxi, where they have gone for a light as a service proposition into their stores. And all the luminaires have been bespoke manufactured in 3D, significantly reducing the materials, amount of materials being used in that. One of our more recognizable cases, we have for years had a very close relationship with Schiphol Airport, which has a really high sustainability agenda, and we've been helping them with the lighting solutions and delivering light as a service throughout the airport, driving down energy use for one, also maintenance cost and resources used for that. maybe not particularly circular, but then again, some of the applications of light and some of the spin-offs in sustainability. When we talk about lighting, the city of Los Angeles, again, massively reduced energy uses, but also with connected lighting, got a number of benefits from that. And again, an example of office space, or not again, but an example of how these types of solutions can reduce energy and optimize the general creature comfort in engaging in lighting, being what do you call that? Well, we make use of makes the most use of natural inflow of light, and can actually control your indoor lighting depending on how much light is out there to gain again creature comforts, but definitely also energy savings. Some of the more different examples, we do have lighting solutions for agriculture that provide light, a special kind of light, a frequency of light, I should say, to nurture crops, flowers, which again really massively changes the way that you grow produce, because you can save a lot of energy and traditional energy in heating, and you can make the utilization. Sorry, the utilization is much higher. Think if you can, really move a lot of this closer to the cities, closer to the consumer, with just using light. There's a lot of spin-off of that as well. You don't need to have lorries transporting this from the countryside into the cities. You can actually move the agriculture sites closer to the cities using light like that. Yeah. Again, there's a lot of use for ample use of light and making it also in a circular context. I guess that was it from me. Any questions? No? Yeah?
How about your competitors? Is there any other company taking steps to the same direction in this?
Yes, but there definitely are. What we most definitely offer is, of course, scale. We do have competitors, but it similarly seems to be in a smaller scale.
Kim, how easy was it to make these changes within the organization? That's quite a big ship to turn around with 30,000 people.
Well, we're not there yet. I can say that. Make no mistake that this is not, unfortunately, the bulk and the main bulk of our business. But what we do see is a lot of interest from customers. There's a lot of talk. I do a lot of this, talking about these kind of technologies, in the circular economy. But there are some embedded challenges here, and I guess for one of them for us also is being a product manufacturing company. Now changing the hearts and minds of that entire organization to, now you need to make products that pretty much live forever. That is a challenge, no doubt about it. And it would be for anyone.
I'm curious about one more thing about how this actually was propelled inside your organization. Was it a specific person who was suddenly tasked to think about something new with these LEDs, or was it fractured off from the main business, or what was the kind of like steps?
Well, I guess the advent of LED now Philips Lighting or Philips has been manufacturing light bulbs for 130 years, and pretty much nothing happened with the development of that light bulb for at least the 120 of those years. Then came along, invented by some of my colleagues, among them, the LED, and that the high efficient LED. LED has been known for years, but the high efficient LED came along about 10 years ago, and it of course offered some very tangible energy savings, and then I guess it just went from there. But taking it to a circular context came about somewhat later, I guess, and it's taken on by a couple of pioneers that think, okay, we can this is interesting. We can. This is also a business opportunity. It's not a threat. It's a business opportunity that can multiply into whatever. And also, at some point, we engaged with Ellen MacArthur Foundation on the concept of circular economy. Still is.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's give Kim a round of applause.